It's up to you to pick the course that you want to go. If you decide that you're going to go against me and go in your own way, he said curses come. Now, you know, when we think about the words curse, I used to think about it. I made it a little bit more supernatural than I should have. Curses simply means bad things. That's all a curse is. It's bad things. In other words, when I choose a direction that's not pleasing to God, I open the door for bad things to happen in my life. When I choose to go in the way of God, I stay under the umbrella of his protection. I receive from him the ability to get things done. In other words, when I receive blessings from God, that's the thing that caused you to get that job that you weren't even qualified for. But when you walked into that person that hired you saw something in you. That favor from God, the blessings of God was the thing that spared us from those things that should have took our life. The blessings of God. God gave us the ability and the right to be able to look back at the mistakes that Israel made and to learn from those mistakes. 1 Corinthians 10:6 says, now these things were written for our examples, to the intent that we should not lust after evil things as they also lusted. It's a beautiful thing to have the ability to learn from somebody else's mistakes. Now, I'm not as young as I used to be. I'm 44, that's still young. I tell people I might not be the man I used to be, but every now and then I have a flash of greatness. But I can remember as a child not understanding the benefit of parents. That's right. Somebody that had been there and done that. I remember I was talking to a young person one day and they told me, said, William, the thing you got to understand, and this was a while back, they said, this is 1993 and not 1939. So you got to understand what they were trying to tell me. Things change now. That's what we want to tell ourselves. Things are different now. You don't understand what I'm going through. You don't understand the challenges that I face. But I want to let you know something. This isn't the first generation that has ever faced a challenge. Now I said when I was getting this message together, I said, Lord, help me not be ugly today. But this isn't the first generation that ever wanted to have sex. I want some of y'all young folk to look around at your parents and these older folk. Look around at them. You can't tell it right now. But at one time in their life, they were in the same heat boat that you were in. Where they could run from room to room when the parents went to sleep, but I tell you what, where there was a wheel, this isn't the first generation that had a cute boy. This isn't the first generation that had a sexy woman. This isn't the first generation that ever had, oh God, this isn't the first generation where folk got pregnant out of wedlock. Oh God, they've been doing that for years and years and years. Sometimes now we sit back and say, Lord, what's wrong with them young folk? They got the same problems that we had when we were coming along. If anything is different now, it's just a little bit more out there. A little bit more bold. But the son, Solomon said there was nothing new up. There's nothing new out there. It's just been rehashed, reintroduced. The first time they presented, it's new. The next time they presented, it's new and improved. Then the next time they presented, it's back to the original. But it's nothing new under the sun. God having the opportunity to learn from somebody else's mistakes. Oh God, how many tears could you have saved ourselves if we had just listened to somebody that had already been there? Oh God, how many heartaches could we have spared ourselves if we had just listened to somebody that had already been there? All the warning signs were there. There haven't been many things in my life that I walked into and got in trouble that I didn't know better. It's just I chose something else. I thought I had a better plan. I thought my idea, well, you got caught because you weren't smart enough. You got hooked up in it because you didn't know what you were doing, but I thought this thing out. The Bible declares that there's a way. Oh man, you can make it work on paper. You can sit there and think about it all night. There's a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the ends thereof, it's going to bring some death. Going to bring some depression. Nothing wrong with wanting to be grown. As parents, we want you to be grown. We want you to get out the house. Amen, parents. We just want you to do it the right way. I don't want my children 34 and 35 years old laying up in the house with me. Get a job and get out. Successful. I don't want you to make the mistakes that I made. I don't want you to have to go through the heartache that I had to go through. I don't want you to have to deal with the things that I dealt with. Some of y'all mamas have dealt with some sorry men. You don't want your daughters dealing with them. They say they love you. See, I'm a man. Can I talk about men for just a second? When we want what we want, we'll tell you whatever it takes to get it. Amen, brothers. If that means telling you you're the finest thing since sliced bread, we'll tell you that. If that means if you want to hear I love you, baby, I love you. If you want to see my sensitive side and I'm going to shed a tear, we'll shed a tear for you. And sisters, because of the way that you were designed, once you give up your precious thing, see, as a man, I got the ability to give my body and not my heart. But many times when a woman gives, she just doesn't give her body. She gives everything. She gives all of her emotions. She gives him her heart. You just gave your heart to somebody that was just keeping score. You gave him your heart and all you were to him was a notch on his belt, a feather in his cap. He's on to the next conquest. Learning a lesson before you have to go through it. Let's look for a few seconds, and believe it or not, I'm almost done. Let's look at some of the bad choices that Israel made and see how they mirror what we're doing today. The first thing that I want to share with you, one of the things that they repeatedly did, they never could grasp the concept of serving God and only God. They always wanted God and something else. They always wanted God and somebody else. You see, with all those other practices, there's all kind of freaky things going on. When they celebrated something, they knew how to get drunk. Throw a big orgy. They liked that stuff. Their flesh liked that stuff. But to them, serving the true and the living God was something that was just a little bit plain. It was a little bit ordinary. All we do is go to church all the time. Now, I want to make it clear. Again, I say I'm not one-dimensional. I love the Lord, but I like other things too. I love the Lord and I like the Steelers. Somebody got my back. I love the Lord and I like going out. I like going out having a good dinner. I don't like staying in church 24 hours a day. I don't want to do that. It's something funny that I find out about us. We're constantly sitting down and re-diagramming the service because it seems like if we go a little bit too long, you know, I've never seen anybody have a problem when the praise